In this video, we're going to revise the laws of indices. So I'll start with the multiplication law. So the multiplication law is a to the n, a is the base, multiplied by a to the m. And what we do is we add the powers together. So you get a to the n plus m. Now if I just do an example, let's have a base of 3. 3 squared multiplied by, bases have to be the same, 3 to the 4 is the base 3. And then you add the powers. So 2 plus 4 is 6, so it's 3 to the power 6. The second law you need to know is the division law of indices. So the division law of indices is where we have, again, the same base. So say the general rule is a to the n divided by a to the m is a to the n take away m. So we subtract the powers. So again, let's pick a base. Let's pick base 2. 2 to the 6 divided by 2 to the 4 is keep the base 2 and subtract the powers. 6 take away the 4 is 2. So 2 squared is actually 4. The third rule that you need to know is the zero law. So what we say is anything to the power 0 is 1. So a to the power 0 is 1 is the general rule. So 10 to the power 0 is 1. Where you've got to be careful with this rule is if you've got a problem to do which involves a 0. So it might be that you're doing 5a to the power 0. Now, because there are two things within this bracket, each of those have to go to the power 0. 5 to the power 0 is 1, and a to the power 0 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So the answer to that is 1. But if you've got, for example, 5 to the 0 plus a to the 0, that's a bit different because 5 to the 0 is 1 plus a to the 0 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So you really have to be careful when you're solving these kinds of problems. I'm just going to clear some space. So this next law is raising a power to another power. So the basic part of this is where you've got a to the m, so a base to a power and then raised to another power. And what we do with that is we multiply the powers together and keep the base the same. So a to the m times m, we'll simplify that. So let's do an example. Let's keep base 2, 2 to the 4, and then let's raise that to another power 2. So the base is 2. So when we simplify that, we get 2, and then the power is 4 times 2, which is 8. Now, there are certain sub-laws of this, because we can raise lots of things within a bracket. So a, b to the m is the same as a, m, b, m. All right, and again, if you've got a power within there, so a to the b, n, m, then you have to make sure that everything within this bracket is raised to the power m. So there are two things in this bracket. There's a base a and a base b, but b is also raised to the power n. So you'd need to do b to the n times m for that one there. So it becomes a to the m times b to the n m. Okay? And there's a further sub-law which involves division. If you've got a fraction and it's to a power, and it might be that you've got these to the power n, and that's raised to the power m. All you've got to do is multiply the powers for both the top numerator and the bottom of this fraction. So it becomes a to the n over, and then b to the m n. Okay, I'll do some examples once I've cleared some space. Okay, so I'm going to do 5b squared to the power 3. So we've got two bases inside this bracket. We've got 5 and a b. 5 is just raised to a power 1, so it's not obvious there. And b is raised to the power 2. And all of that is within a bracket raised to the power 3. So each of these need to be raised to the power 3. So we follow our powers. So 5 to the power 3 is 125. And then we're going to do b squared times the 3. So it becomes b to the power 6. Oops, it's supposed to be 6. All right, let's go on to the division, or the fraction, where we've got a fraction. So it's like 1/2 to the power 3. Now, each of these, the numerator and the denominator, has to be placed to the power 3. So we've got 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8. So the answer is 1/8.